Y'all need to help Stephen Phillips out over there. Out the door and off the radio.
Here's Stephen Phillips.
All righty, folks, we're coming in on this Monday morning. Supposed to have, who is it, Jones?
Vernon Jones.
Vernon Jones supposed to be calling in here momentarily. He's running for, what's he running for?
Secretary of State.
Yeah, there you go. And
there's a reason you have me on this show, isn't there?
You're the smart guy. Hey, no kidding, man. We got it going on today. We actually got Topper in here with us this morning. Good morning, Topper.
Back in the saddle again.
Yeah, man.
He'll be back.
He got his Harley shirt on. He said he actually owns a Harley.
I'm not a poser.
Yeah. That's exactly why I didn't buy one this weekend.
How are you, Pat?
I am good, Stephen. You have a good weekend?
Yeah, man. I had a good weekend. Yeah. I had all these people come by to see me or just, to see who I was. It was George and Frank and
Clem.
Ethel. Yeah.
Clem and
like all them would come by and
Skeeter.
see Pat, Harry down there at the Pumpkin Chunkin. No last names, just first names. Yeah, they're from New York or something.
Well, they don't want to be identified.
I don't blame them. I don't blame them.
I'll tell you what. Speaking of listeners coming out to see us, man, I did that Barks Bands and Brews thing yesterday. The fundraiser for the 40th anniversary for the Humane Society. Good Lord, what an amazing turnout it was! I've never seen it so crowded on a Sunday. We raised over $5,000 for the dogs.
There you go. So they get about what, $8 out of that?
Yeah, a couple. When all was said and done.
Did you play a lot of Sarah McLachlan music? You know what I mean, like Arms of an Angel.
No,
make everybody cry.
Poor puppies. You've seen the Humane Society commercials, have you, Topper?
Exactly.
Yeah. Culture Club cover band, right?
Culture Club, exactly.
We did,
Hey,
once bitten, twice
all
shot.
jokes aside, folks, everybody's bragging. Brad Allewine saved my hind end over the weekend. Big shout out to him, man, and his paint company. What a great guy. Come up, help me out, and wouldn't take anything for it. Had to make him take $5. I said, take his $5.
You shove it in his pocket.
Yeah, I said, take it. But I'm just
trying to give him that $5 check again. I'm still trying to pass that off.
Hey, there's good people out there, man. And he's one of them. So if y'all looking for Allewine painting, I highly recommend him because
he is good. He is the best. He painted my house.
Yeah, ain't no doubt. We come,
bang up job.
And I figured a couple of gallons, but anyway, he brought a whole load of paint in. I thought I ain't never gonna use that much. It was within just a couple of gallons of everything he brought. I mean, how do you figure that?
He knows his stuff, man.
Yeah,
he's done it a time or two.
No doubt. But anyway, thank you so much on that. So I reckon, according to what I've got, over 7 million joined nationwide no king protest against Trump policies.
Yeah,
I'm actually, I'm what, Pat?
Yeah, I just said, yep.
According to what I've got, the estimates are way on down. The high estimate that I'm coming up with, according to what I've got, is around 4 million, which is still quite a bit of people.
Yeah.
But that's still less than 1.19% of Americans. 1.19%.
No, it's much less than that.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Well, this is a great day to know that statistic because it just means there's less morons in this country than we thought. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
What a bunch of buffoonery right there. No kings. Is that like a self-fulfilling prophecy? Think about it. Well, I mean, he's not a king. When he's out of office in a few years, he's still not going to be a king. We still won't have a king. Are they going to self-congratulate themselves? Be like, look, because of our protests, we got no kings.
But here's
there
the thing.
never was a king.
Let me ask you this. If we had kings, could they actually do what they did?
No.
And that's exactly it. If you know what? If he was a king, we wouldn't be having this budget issue right now. He'd be like, pass it. And he'd be like, oh, you morons out there protesting me. You're going to the dungeon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, nothing about him as a king is ridiculous.
What I love
is a press release saying eat more cake.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What I love is you got Kamala Harris out there saying, oh, we're going to go support the No Kings protest. I'm sorry. How many votes did you get in your primary?
Yeah, exactly.
Appointed. Aren't kings appointed or anointed or something
like that?
Hey, I like this Woodstock reunion. Yeah, Woodstock reunion. I can go with that. I don't know. I ain't got time for all that nonsense. Do you?
Who's that comedian that says, here's your sign?
Here's your sign.
He needed to be out there handing the I'm stupid sign.
The important thing from that information, Stephen, is that less than 2% of the American population participated.
Right. Yeah.
How big of a deal is it? And Harry was going that if one person stands up and resists, there are 10 people behind him who don't say anything, who resist, even if that's the case. So 20% it's still an 80-20 country.
Okay, let me ask you this: less than that 2% that were protesting, how many were out there paid? That's another question.
Well, yeah, you'd have to
It's
take that
scholars.
off. The other thing is that they did the same thing they did in June. They came out here and they all have different reasons that they're out there.
Someone was waving a Palestine flag.
Oh,
yeah, I mean, they're all over the place in what they want to accomplish.
Yeah, no brains and vaccine injured. Trump calls for no King's protest day a joke. I work hard. That ain't what he said. He said,
That's a good paraphrase. That's a good.
I don't see how, after all that's been going on with Trump, of course, I think the Israel Hamas thing is falling apart pretty quick. Sounds
well.
We knew that. We knew that.
I think it's back together though.
Yeah, Israel has said we're gonna enforce the ceasefire again.
So we're doing that
until Hamas messes up again. We'll see.
Well, I don't know, man. I just think it's hilarious. And how many did they have in Hayesville? I don't think they had. Did they have in Hiawassee?
What, Palestinians?
No, the
No Kings.
No Kings.
The moron club.
Yeah, they were here.
Oh, they were in Hiawassee?
I saw things on Facebook. I don't know if it was Hiawassee or Young Harris, but I saw some videos.
Yeah.
I wasn't there.
And I seen Gary Chapman. Is it something up in Nashville? Y'all see that?
I saw him post that. Looked like it was some sort of rally.
Yeah.
He tagged Marsha Blackburn, so she was probably there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Robert De Niro's back in the news. MSNBC, he dropped the F-bomb. Golly. Yeah. I think, when
he's so tough.
Oh, he is.
He's such a man.
Yeah.
Such a gangster.
He has got TDS.
Yeah.
In a big way.
And we've got everybody but Pat. We got CSS, common sense syndrome.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think that's what
I would actually argue that De Niro has FTDS.
Yeah. He's an idiot. He is an idiot. So
no kidding.
Back in the news. And honest, that's the thing about it. And I know y'all slip cuss words and everything else. It's just like, why do you do that?
For emphasis.
I was going to say, for the record, I have yet to slip a cuss word on this show.
Well, I think that the Dems are trying to feel empowered through Trump because Trump cusses all the time. Not that that's some great quality, but the point is that since he started doing that in his campaigns and in his daily work, they seem to jump on all the time now and try to drop F-bombs or little words here and there to sound tough too. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like they've got that kind of a personality like Trump, but they don't.
Hey, we got to get to a break. I think we got somebody on the wings. Okay, we got Vernon Jones on the wings. Let's get to a quick break. We'll get to him back. Y'all hang around there, and we'll catch you on the other side. All righty, we're back with you. We got Vernon Jones on, running for Secretary of State. Good morning. How are you, sir?
Good morning, Stephen. How are you?
Man, we just hang. It's a little bit cold up here in the mountains. I'll be honest with you this morning, but other than that, everything is good.
Well, it's cold down here in Decatur too. So it's cold across the state, I believe. But I'm proud to be on your show. Thank you so much for having me, Stephen.
Hey, we appreciate you, man. We appreciate you. Tell everybody kind of what you got on your mind, what you're running for, and what made you decide to run for the Secretary of State.
Well, first and foremost, I'm a country boy born on a tobacco farm. I understand the importance of hard work, and my parents raised me good faith-based and get a good education. And so I was grounded, obviously, with good folks and good values. I served 8 years actually 12 years in the Georgia House of Representatives. As a matter of fact, I served with Zell Miller, probably one of the best governors I've ever served with. I also served as chief executive and chairman of the county government for another 8 years. My background is solid. I know my way around that General Assembly. I know the members. I know the bodies. I know how things get done and things get moved around. So my experience, obviously, in a job like this is very important. But more importantly, Steve, let me tell you, I'm running for Secretary of State to restore public trust. Many, many Georgians felt that their vote was not counted, or their word or their voices were not heard, and they were suppressed. They were demonized. You see how they demonized President Trump because he questioned the elections officers. That's not right. People should be able to question their government, hold them accountable. And so a lot of people lost faith. We want to come back in there, we restore faith, and those people don't know, but Secretary of State oversees licensure and certification. And when people finish nursing school or get their accountant degree and ready to get their boards passed and get their license, it takes too long to get a response. And people want to get a much more efficient, much more effective response. That's important. And of course, we have to regulate them and make sure that they meet standards. But the Secretary of State's office is the gateway of all businesses as well.
Right.
All businesses have to come through there, and we want to make sure the businesses and growth of businesses is a priority in the state of Georgia.
Amen. Vernon, first of all, this is Steve Harper. My mom, Jeannie, says hi. She loves you.
Hey, G.
Anyway, businesses are definitely one of the main functions of the Secretary of State's office. The other being elections, of course, and like you just kind of mentioned, and with Stacey Abrams' PAC just getting slapped with one of the largest fines in campaign law violation history. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, we have to go back. You look at what happened to Secretary of State's office when Stacey Abrams cried that there was fraud. You can remember she said it was fraud, but when Trump said it, he had to be arrested.
Right.
But she filed a suit with the Secretary of State's office, and Gabe Sterling, who was there at the time, they settled with her. They changed election laws. Let me tell you, you and I both know the Constitution is clear. Only the members of the General Assembly can change election laws, not the executive branch, not the judiciary branch, but the legislative branch. And when they did that settlement agreement with Stacey Abrams, here come all the drop-off boxes. Here come the millions of ballots just going out there willy-nilly. And so that created a lot of fraud. And, when people said the media demonized us, they said, well, there's no widespread fraud. Well, that means that there's some fraud. And so paper ballots is important. People want to go back to paper ballots. Let there be watermarks on them. Let them be down to the level that we can make sure that there is no fraud. There's zero room for fraud. I'm not trying to relive the 2020 elections, but I certainly don't want it to happen again. And if I'm fortunate enough to get elected Secretary of State, we're going to open it up to the public. We're going to shine the light on what actually happened in the office and work to fix it to restore public faith and public trust.
Well, that was Raffensperger. Was that who it was?
Raffensperger.
Yeah. So
Raffensperger is the Secretary of State, but let's remember, it was Gabe Sterling, who's running for Secretary of State now, was his number one guy, who was there, went to work there for $100,000 as an employee, then left and became a consultant with the Secretary of State for $200,000. And he was the one that was to oversee and the purchasing of the voting system that everyone cried foul about the issues with it. And so that's why, we can't have a revolving door at that Secretary of State's office. And matter of fact, he became the face that there's no issues with the 2020 election. He was on CNN, MSNBC, those radical stations. They made him a celebrity. Why? Because he was attacking and demonizing those of us who just wanted answers, who just wanted to make sure our elections was free, fair, and transparent.
Right. So now what have you done over the last 4 years to kind of help that, being as a private citizen? I mean, you can, and thank you for saying it. Everyone who knows what happened going back to 2020, I was the first out there marching, protesting, calling on the governor, calling on the Secretary of State, working with private lawyers who were filing suits, working with the president, his lawyers. I told them back then to go to the heart of this and challenge how those drop-off boxes and how that settlement agreement was done in the privacy of the legislature by the Secretary of State's office, because it wasn't constitutional. A lot of things, initiatives that have taken place to fight that, it came from a lot of the ideas and information that I was working with others, including grassroots groups, to bring light to it, to challenge the media, challenge the Secretary of State's office. That's why it never stopped. And you remember in 2021, they came and codified a lot of those solutions that me and others proposed to make our elections where it's easy to vote, but it's hard to cheat. But still, there's still room for more improvement. We have to look at that election system that we have now. People do want a paper ballot. One of the things I'm going to do is first week, I'm going to do an executive order to go throughout the state of Georgia, holding hearings. I want to hear what people had to say, and I'm not going to call them out or demonize them or make them feel they don't have a voice in their elections office, because we work for them. They don't work for us, and taxpayers deserve that. And information, do you know, Steve, a lot of information people try to get, the Secretary of State's office wouldn't release it. They were stonewalling. It was like pulling teeth. Right.
Basic information. I want to make that information available to the public, and a lot of information the public has to pay for. Well, why? That's to discourage them for requesting information.
Right.
A lot of the information be made free and available to the public. That's what we want to do, bring sunshine to that office.
Amen.
All right, Pat, I can tell you got something.
I just got one question. You said that paper ballots will we'll have zero fraud with paper ballots. How are we going to do that? Because my information says states that use paper ballots have just as much fraud as states that use the voting machines.
Well, what you just said is your information. That's
Yeah.
why it's important. When a vendor is proposing to provide their services and their system to the state of Georgia, I want to make it a requirement that we hold hearings as well with each of those vendors there. That's a part of the RFQ, that those vendors are required to hold a certain number of public hearings around the state, bring those machines, answer the questions to the public, let the public try to tear that machine up. When I mean tear up, let them test it. Let them ask as many questions. Let's see what's comfortable. Let's come back with recommendations based on what the public is saying, show the priority, show what system they felt most comfortable with. As you know, the Secretary of State does not appropriate money, but those recommendations and findings can be made to the Georgia General Assembly. So, because they're the ones who have to appropriate the money. But the point is, let's have the public involved. Let's answer some of these questions. Some say the paper ballot is the best way. Some say it's not. But guess what? Let's put it all out there. And where everybody's engaged, not put one person in charge like they did with Gabe Sterling, and he goes out, he's the only one that's talking to these vendors. That should be made public to everybody. And so that's, again, getting as much information out about these systems. We know technology is moving fast, but we should always recognize that people will try to test something, people will try to commit fraud, but we want to make sure only those who are legal are voting. You know, you go and register now and get your driver's license, they can automatically register you to vote. Mm-hmm. Well, you know what's interesting? A lot of people have experienced fraud with a driver's license, and so a person who is not legal and get a driver's license, all of a sudden now they're registered to vote. So a number of initiatives that we're going to be looking at on cutting back on fraud, because it could be in any step of the process, from registering to vote to actually voting. And we want to make sure that there's zero tolerance, and we continue to work towards reducing that. And so, and I certainly want to, believe it or not, I certainly want to have your radio station involved. When we're having some of these hearings, come on, we can share information with you so you can share with your listeners, because people really tune in to what you guys are doing. Y'all are educating North Georgians, as a matter of fact, across the state. And so I appreciate coming on y'all's show, because love North Georgia, and what y'all are doing is helping to get the word out and educate voters.
Thanks, Vernon. Hey, Vernon, you know, speaking of voting machines, you were mentioning voting machines and the paper ballots. You know, Dominion Voting Systems was recently bought out, and the new CEO is pledging full transparency, full audits. What are your thoughts on that? You think that that's a step forward?
Listen, you can't stop private business. We all believe in free enterprise and capitalistic society. But what I can do as Secretary of State, I can bring that whoever the new chief executive is. I want to know who he is. I want to hear what his plans are. But I want to make that information available, put it out there on our website, and I would like for him to have his senior staff and join me. And we go throughout the 4 quarters of this state, and we hold public hearings and say, okay, what has just happened with Dominion? Who is the new chief executive? What are y'all's plans? What are your vision? Mm-hmm. Let the public come out. I want the public to be on Dominion's butt like white on rice, because when they know that the public has zero tolerance for fraud or zero tolerance for systems don't work or not functioning, that they know that they're going to have someone to answer to, and that's the taxpayers, because it's their dollars, Steve. It's their dollars that's paying for that. And so we want to know, what are their new improvements? Do they think their system is a perfect system? Let them tell the voters, yeah, either we do or we don't. If not, what do you think that needs to be improved, and what are you going to do to improve so we can restore and maintain the public trust? The bottom common denominator is public trust, no matter what system we use, and that their systems work, or they are accurate, every vote is count, and there's zero tolerance for fraud. And that should be their number one mantle: zero tolerance for fraud, and everybody get a chance to vote in the most efficient, effective way.
Amen.
So, Mr. Jones, this is the other Steve, the third Steve. They call me Topper here, and I want to make a Captain Obvious statement, and then ask a social question. You're black. In this state of Georgia, we look at that election when Trump lost to Biden. Georgia went what they call purple. It went from a red state, started switching blue. And you look at the different population centers and how the votes went, and where it got a heavy Democrat vote was in black population centers here in the state of Georgia. Here you are, a conservative, rationally minded, logical person, Republican, running for Secretary of State, and you're black. How do we go and get that population group to see things the way you see things, and get folks of the African American heritage to start voting Republican? How do we do that?
Well, first of all, Steve, Thank you. I didn't know I was black.
I was afraid too, man.
Well, you know what? We're on the radio. Mr. We're on the radio. And we're on the radio, and you know these mountain folks up here where we are up here in white mountain land of Georgia might be like, I like this Vernon guy. They don't even know that, but they need to know. That's the case. So you're the subject. You're a subject matter.
Steve, just stop.
Yeah, when you find yourself in a hole, stop digging.
You're a subject matter expert on this, as you would guess. So tell us about it.
Let me say this. First of all, I'm like you guys. I'm American.
There you go.
Amen.
And the only difference between me and Steve is the color of our eyes. That's the only difference.
Amen.
But let me tell you, I was born and reared. I mentioned to you on a farm, a conservative family. My dad was military, served in the 3rd Army under Patton, very, very strict. Again, they were. I was 12 years old when I realized that I was strung out on drugs because my mom and daddy, they drugged me to church on Monday, they drugged me to church on Tuesday, they drugged me to church on Wednesday. Hard work on that tobacco farm. They never complained, and I grew up in an area where they were just working folks. We didn't care what color you were. We were there to look out for each other. But I will tell you this: as I was a Democrat in the past, and there was a time when Democrats held conservative values. And Dale Miller would tell you that. I always say I didn't leave the Democrat Party; they really left me. I just don't believe a man can have a baby. I'm sorry, I just don't believe that. I believe there are only 2 genders. I'm sorry. That's what I believe.
That's crazy.
I'm not ostracizing or criticizing anybody else. Males should stay out of female sports. That's why we have Title IX for females. And so my values are strong. But as an African American man, by description, there are a lot of blacks who are tired and left the Democratic Party's plantation. That's all it's been. Liberals like to be able to think for black people as if we're too dumb, we can't get a free photo ID, that we're suppressed. No, we're not suppressed. We're suppressed by what they're trying to do to brainwash us that if we don't vote Democrat, we're not black.
So
now, if the President of the United States would say that, Joe Biden, if he would say that, what do you think the rest of the party would feel like? Let me be clear. I don't care about someone's race. We have issues with people as individuals. The fact of it is, I fit in just as well with people in North Georgia. I was up there this weekend from Union County, Fannin County, and had a great time. People understand me. I understand them. There's a myth and there's a perception. The liberal media like to create that. But the Democrat Party is afraid. You know what they're afraid of? They see African Americans now getting up, walking away from that plantation. More and more of them are beginning to vote with the Republican Party. And that's why the liberal side, the Democrats don't want me to get elected because they know that if I do that, that's even a greater influence on the African American vote, especially the male. Black males are already trending because black males don't support open borders. They don't support this type of lifestyle they want to push down our throats. We believe in a nuclear family. We don't want to be on a crutch, but the government, the liberal folks, they want blacks to feel like the government is all for them. And to be all for them, no, there's a place for government, those who really need it, people who are disabled, people who have challenges. There's a role for government, but government can't be everything for everybody. So, that's why it's so important as a Secretary of State, we push jobs, small businesses. People want to work. They want to earn a living. They don't want anything handed to them.
I think
Democrats.
No. I think that's a great answer. This is Topper, the one that asked the crazy question.
The
fact is this.
Oh, yeah.
That is a beautiful answer. And
He
the thing
wants to
is
be.
this. I think you need to make that part of what you do when you're campaigning is to make that speech you just gave. Because here's the deal. It's these African American folks in some of these districts that will be the very ones that are going to vote against you because they've been brainwashed in the way you've just described. And if that truth can get out there, that the party that where everybody ought to want to be is the one that you're running for.
Well,
that's a beautiful thing. I think the way you characterize it and described it is perfect.
We got to get down to the fact that there's a human race and there ain't no race in between.
I know, but the Democrats are making that separation. That's my point.
Yeah, we need to get back to God, the human race, and need to fight for the Americans because we are Americans.
That's right, because Democrats are great separators.
Are you? We're fixing to have to get to a break and get going here. Can you give everybody your contact information where they can find, follow, and see some of the stuff that you've got on your website and this, that, and other?
Yes, I can. Now, quick note: the Republican primary is predominantly about 85% white. And I want those Republicans, because we have to win a primary first. There are many African Americans waiting to vote for me in the general election because they share my values, but they have friends who are running as Democrats, so they're local friends. But it's the Republican part. I want Republicans to realize that that so goes Georgia, so goes this country. And I can lead Georgia and lead this statewide election so we can keep Republicans in office. Please go to my website, VernonJonesForga.com. That's VernonJonesForga.com. And just reach out. My number is 404-285-7222. And I'll be up there tonight again in Fannin County. We spend a lot of time in North Georgia. We love North Georgia. I feel like I'm home when I'm there. So I look forward to coming back on your station too and sharing some more information with you all.
Hey man, we appreciate you. I
Good
guarantee
stuff,
it. Maybe we'll leave Topper off next time.
No.
I think Topper needs to be here because if he is here, then we could all catch you if you wanted to crowd surf.
Yeah.
'Cause I know that's your thing, and we could totally support
No,
you.
they
if you
won't.
want to crowd surf.
They dropped me.
I know you're a big guy.
Mr. Jones, I think you're right.
When I come back on y'all's show, I want to explain to y'all the real reason behind that crowd surfing. And if you know why, I think it'll touch your heart.
All right.
But I'll share it the next time I come on there.
No doubt.
All right, man. We appreciate you, brother. We appreciate you. We'll be
Okay.
talking to you soon.
Love
y'all.
All right. Thank you.
Thank y'all so much.
All right. We got to get to a break. That's Vernon Jones there. You give all the information so you can follow him. And we're going to get to a quick break. All righty. We're back with you. I hope everybody's doing good, man. I got, this Gray Wolf said his father-in-law served with Patton, man, in the 3rd Army. And then Marissa said she also had her dad was served with Patton. That would be awesome.
Gray Wolf is an awesome harp player, by the way.
Well, that's what Mr. Jones was saying, that his dad served with Patton, right?
I mean, honestly, that just
I'm pretty sure
he
that's
was
what he
talking
said.
so fast.
No, I'm pretty sure that's what he said, that his father served under Patton.
I like what that guy said that, he said, you see how fast I'm talking? That's how fast I listen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Hey, Pat, I want to go back to something about the paper ballots. Is you kind of made a passing comment on there about, that your information says that paper ballots and states that have paper ballots and don't have paper ballots have the same amount of fraud.
Pretty much, yeah.
What is that? Tell me your information and your sources about that.
I got it from the Associated Press release. The Associated Press reported on it.
Mhm.
Okay, because I'm just trying to find that, because every single thing, even when I try to just Google it and look it up the way that you're saying that, everything says the exact opposite. And it says, like, everything that I'm finding says that physical, tangible records of voter intent are really important. And a paper ballot always gives durable representation of how voters cast their ballot. And it provides a paper trail, like Steve was saying, have watermarks on them.
Yeah, you get the paper from a specific source and only one exclusive specific source, and it has a specific watermark that has to be put on during the production process, not applied afterwards. And
actually, most states and most even like across party lines, people agree with that. That's not even like an arguable thing. This said like it provides like a post-election audit ability, and it like
there already is a audit ability for the machines. They audit the machines.
They do.
I mean, I don't know what other piece of information there that paper ballots bring that will make it any more secure.
It actually makes people more confident to know that there is a paper ballot out there that can be cast. And a lot of countries do that. Like
okay, so it's psychological. It doesn't really have a tangible benefit. It just makes people feel better.
There's a massive psychological thing that is benefit in elections.
Okay.
And people know that they're.
I think you ought to have to vote in public for everybody to see.
But let me ask you. Hang on. I'm still making a point. Like, what's the downside to that? Because people say it's very doable. I mean, countries all over the world do paper ballots, and they do them very successfully, and they have less instances of fraud. A lot of sources say. So, what's the downside of that?
It takes forever.
Oh yeah, people can't count anymore.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
It does. I mean, it's going to take a whole lot longer to get results in.
People do it all the time.
Yeah, I know, but
it only takes a long
and it
time.
does take longer.
I don't know. I think why not vote in public, man, where everybody can see what you're voting. I mean,
no secret ballot.
Yeah, no secret ballots, none of that kind of stuff. You just walk in a room, say, "How do you vote?" You got like 10 people there, and they write down your vote.
Here's what I want to know.
You need to move to New Hampshire.
It always takes a long time to count them when it's a Democrat stronghold county that's behind. You ever notice that?
Yeah.
Every time that's what it is.
Well, they have all those.
Every time.
Stacey Abrams going in there.
You just
clogging
need
the
to
toilet.
know what the numbers are.
What Pat just say?
They just need to know what the numbers are so that they know how many artificial ones they have to create.
That's right. It's every time the same thing.
Yeah. I would just like to say, Pat, you're a white guy.
you're so white, Pat.
Wait a minute. I looked in the mirror and I'm more pink than I am white.
But just say you're a pink.
But the point of it is, though, is like if you don't have a paper ballot, I mean, these softwares that people say, oh, it's very secure, but you don't know. I mean, nobody understands how. You don't understand how the software works. You don't know anything about that. But a physical ballot, it provides an independent physical record. So if the software or hardware was compromised, then there is a way to detect it and go back and have a physical record of it. I don't know why that's
wait a minute. Packy, how many people get on an airplane knowing how the aerodynamics causes that plane to lift off?
That guy does.
Okay, now wait a minute. Here,
other than Topper.
Pilot does.
Okay, we got Gary Chapman on here. He says, if you believe that a programmable machine, which makes absolutely perfect sense to me. So you can program.
Then you know nothing
machines.
about machines or paper. Like, that's a good way to put it.
We'll probably be revisiting
Gary.
this in a couple of days.
But I'm just saying everything that I'm really trying to look up and trying to see your point on that. But everything that I'm saying, or everything that you're saying,
well, Packy,
says the opposite.
That's your philosophy.
It's not.
It is. It's been your philosophy since 2020. You've always advocated for paper ballots.
Yeah,
you brought up 2020. That's a great point. So if we had that big voting, we had the big voting bill that, remember the World Series and everybody got all mad and left. So let me ask you this. So do you know what I'm talking about, Pat?
Yeah.
Okay, so if it was the cleanest, most secure election in the history, like Brad Raffensperger and all these people said that it was, then what did they fix? What if there was? What did they fix something that wasn't broken?
I think they fixed other potential holes that were there, but we're not necessarily utilized.
So they got rid of all the mail, the drop boxes, and all that kind of stuff that were known to cause problems.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Why did they do that if it was a perfect election?
Exactly. Like why fix it if it wasn't broken?
You can always make it better. How's that?
Oh, okay. We like the way.
Yeah.
You got Bob M here. He said, you vote in Union County, then you stick it in an electronic machine to do the counting.
Well, that's statewide. I mean, that's the way. So
trust them counting machines.
Well, that's just it. So you vote on a computer. The computer spits out a piece of paper. The piece of paper is fed into the counter. It used to be that piece of paper had a QR code on it, and that the reader was reading that QR code. It had your vote as well in English, so you could see that. But the question was, if the machine's reading the QR code, how do I know that QR code says exactly what my English votes say? And I don't speak QR, so I don't know for sure. From what I understand, they've changed that. Now they're using OCR, the optical character recognition, to actually read the English that is printed to confirm that your ballot is correct.
There you go. What we need is our third grade.
How do we know that the counter counts the paper ballots correctly?
Now, what we just said, Pat, you catching up?
That's the point, is that you have a real human that can count it. People do it all the time. It's not that big of a deal. They used to do it like that.
So you're advocating not only that we use paper ballots, but they be counted, tabulated by human beings?
If there is a question, yes, there is a chain of custody, and there is a backup to where humans can count it. They do it all the time.
Remember the hanging tag?
All right. So the chain of custody is only for auditing purposes.
It can be for whatever you want, but it's there if it's needed, and it's not that big of a deal. Like, you're acting like it's this big deal. No, people can count ballots. They can count, except for Fulton County, they can count.
Right.
Well,
Count very
and I think it needs to be retired third grade teachers. That's who needs to do the counting. Retired third grade teachers. There's enough of them out there that could come together and count. And that way we know it'd be accurate. Because I could
Why
trust
third
them.
grade? Why third grade?
Because you're supposed to be able to read by the third grade.
Right.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. So that'd be the one to go with.
Schwarzenegger was on Bill Maher's show this weekend, and he said, "Listen, the way to a real democracy," he had 3 points, and one of them actually was not paper ballots, but it was make Election Day a federal holiday.
I'm with you on that.
So we have one day where everybody votes. You actually have actual fair redistricting maps in all 50
They're doing
states
that now.
done by an independent, nonpartisan committee, and then you have a voter ID. And those three things, according to Arnold, would make the democracy so much more real and so much more pure.
Uncle Rico says, still haven't heard Pat say where he got his information. And I've just been sitting here Googling Associated Press states with I cannot find that information.
yeah, I'm sorry, but that's where I got it. So What
Could
can
you?
I tell
I would love to see that.
I did say there was one thing Vernon said that made sense to me. I think the bigger issue is this idea when you get a driver's license, you automatically get registered to vote. That needs to stop.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
All right,
There's
we
so
got to
many
get to a
problems.
break. I'm gonna go back to Archie Patterson. Gary, 2028. Now I can get behind
Yeah!
that. Yeah.
Yeah!
We can do that, Patty. I could like be the vice president.
You could, man. I'd vote for you.
Yeah.
Hey, that may be a good idea because if he becomes president, he wouldn't come on your show anymore.
Yeah, he would.
And
We
that
can
would
just do it
make
from the White-
Wednesdays
we can do it
more,
from the Oval
more.
Office. Would that not be cool?
That
I'm on
might
this.
extend Pat's lifespan by a good 10, 15 years with all that stress and aggravation once a week.
Hey, all right, what are we giving away?
What day is today? Monday?
Monday.
I wish we could give away some RJ's Fine Cigars, but
AP stands for already persuaded.
We're going to give away some S&S smoothies or the Tin Roof, but this portion of the show is brought to you by our good friends at RJ's Fine Cigars right next to Granddaddy Mims in Blairsville. So, Pat, you got a trivia question for some?
I do. You guys didn't like mine, so I'm going down south to the NASCAR championships. Which driver?
Yeah.
Which driver has the most NASCAR championships?
Oh, okay. That'll be
Driver.
Oh yeah, which driver has the most NASCAR championships? I think there's a race between the two right now, right? I think. Anyway, all right, let's get to a break. All right, Luke Poe, who we got, brother?
We got Trina Fisher.
Hey, Trina, what's going on?
Not much, guys. How are you?
We're good. We're good. Are you a NASCAR fan?
Not really.
Are you serious? Well, did you used to be a NASCAR fan?
No.
Do you know?
So what?
I like Google. Yeah, I'm a Google fan.
She's a Google fan.
So what do you follow like sports, like women's mud wrestling?
Do
or
you know what
anything?
NASCAR is?
I am a baseball fan.
Oh, okay, baseball.
I
There you
do
go.
like baseball. Working with my guys at casinos on the weekends. I watch a lot of football now. So.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. All right. Well, what's the question again, Pat?
Who won? Which driver has the most NASCAR championships?
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Richard Petty.
Close.
You are correct.
Really?
Is there anybody else?
The only one I could think of is Dale Earnhardt.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're correct. Is there anybody else?
No.
More
I think
current.
Richard Petty because of the song. Well, I don't know how Richard Petty feels.
That was phenomenal, by the way. Trina.
Hey, you
I
win.
know, if you don't know who Dale Earnhardt is, then I don't know. You've been living under a rock or something.
Yeah.
There you
Yes,
go.
yes, Trina, you say you're watching a lot of football these days. Do you
A
know?
little bit, yeah.
Do you know what NASCAR driver shares the same name with a pretty famous football coach who's retired and is sometimes on Fox NFL Sundays now?
You're trying to give her the hint of the third.
I'm trying to
time.
give her a hint.
I
Yeah.
know, and I can't. I have no idea.
He's got really cool hair.
Who was it?
48.
48.
I don't know.
Jimmy.
Jimmy Johnson.
I don't
Jimmy
know.
Johnson is the third one. They all have 7 championships apiece.
You already won, Trey. You sang Kenny Chesney on it. Right?
Yeah,
That's
you already
a
won,
win.
girl.
That is an automatic win.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. All right, girl. So we appreciate you calling in, no doubt about it.
Thank you so much, guys.
Got it
I
here at the
appreciate
station
it.
for you. Come by and see us.
You got to swing by.
Okay. Thank you, guys. I hope you all have a wonderful day.
You
All right.
too, Trina.
You know, for some reason, I thought Earnhardt had more than Petty, but I guess they've tied, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they all had 7.
I sang last night. I was sitting there watching NASCAR from about 1971. I mean, I love
Oh
it.
yeah, that
Uncle-
it was really cool.
Uncle Rico says, "Hey Topper, your question to Vernon reminded me of Gabby on Blazing Saddles."
Johnson is right.
Oh.
Authentic frontier gibberish.
Y'all step back or I'm on it. Never mind. Oh, what a great movie.
Hey, you know, today is World Statistics Day. I wish Harry and Pat would have mentioned that on their show because I just wanted to hear Harry say statistics. one more time.
Statistics. Yeah.
He can't spell it, let alone say it.
Oh,
There's
Lord.
there's no S in there somehow.
I know we're about out, but I reckon Mike Johnson just said the FBI arrested a suspected Hamas terrorist
Yeah.
in Louisiana.
In Louisiana. Yeah, they sure did.
That's pretty close to home there, ain't it? To me,
not only was he at Hamas Terrace, he was there on the day on October 7th, was he not?
yeah, I
I
think
believe
so.
he was.
I don't know, man. I don't think you got Topper's mic on there, Pat.
Uh-oh.
Is it not on?
We couldn't tell you.
It was really nice and peaceful there for a minute. I mean,
He didn't need some major obvious statements made.
Yeah.
Uh,
You got any more intimidating questions you like? I'm glad you pointed it out to poor Jones. He had no idea he was black.
He was unclear.
Yeah, he's
He was
like,
unclear.
He's going to spend the rest of the morning looking for a mirror to verify.
he gave a fabulous answer, and again, I was being serious. I think that's something that he obviously has to contend with, and I wish that we could.
he's got to contend with. Let me tell you something. When you're a white redneck from Georgia, that's what you got to contend with.
no,
You get all the-
when you're a bald guy, we're the underrepresented minority over here that gets mistreated, bro.
Oh man, well,
Bald lives matter.
it's been a lot of fun, folks. It has been a lot of fun. But we appreciate you, Pat. You got a good laugh today. I thought you was gonna fall out of your chair. All righty. Well, tomorrow we'll be back with you. Hopefully, Gary Chapman will chime back in. He's watching. He already just joined in. He's got the link, man. He's got the link. So anyway, all right, folks. We will talk to y'all bright and early in the morning. We appreciate you joining, and thank you.
Stay warm.